Well,
Speaking of wonderful,
all right,
you ready for some answers?
Let's go for it.
Okay, this first one comes from Lori Pat, who says, I've read recently where certain celebrities have said they, quote, sold their soul to the devil. Is this really possible to do? How do they do it? And if they change their minds, how do they buy it back?
Well, that's part of lore of history. There's a certain, you know, Dr. Faustus and all that whole idea that you sold your soul to the devil. You can't do that. Your soul isn't for sale. They use that term to say essentially they forsook the gospel, they forsook the Lord, and they turn into sin. But how do you get it back? You go back to Jesus. But I don't, the idea of selling your soul and then buying it back, that's part of mythology, but it's not from the Bible.
Okay, this is Marie Pat, who says, is it a sin to not be able to stop loving someone you used to have a relationship with? 33 years ago, I chose between two men I was very much in love with. I've been happily married to the man I chose. We have grown children and grandchildren. I've been 100% physically faithful, but my heart still holds a huge place for this person, although he's no longer living. Am I committing a sin to continue to love him? I don't want to have any unrepented sin come between me and the Lord on Judgment Day.
I don't quite know how to answer that. The answer is the man's dead. You loved two guys. You chose one. Hey, I think there's a certain amount of spiritual adultery going on that you don't want to be part of. But what do? I mean, you forsake it and say, you know, give yourself to you got a husband, you got children, you got grandchildren, you got a big family, you have a wonderful life. And the fact that you had you chose between two men, I mean, Terry, I don't know how to answer that.
Well, you know, it's an interesting thing. I think there's nothing wrong with loving someone that was special in your life and your heart. Yeah. I mean, in some way, I guess we do that with other people in our lives as well, but love the one you're with, you know.
Well, I think that's it, and I don't know what you're going to do, but you need to face up to what the problem is and go before the Lord and say, Lord, take this from me and give me love for my husband, okay?
Okay, this is Brittney, who says, hello, 700 Club. My name is Brittney, and I have a question. Can you ask God for dreams to come true? This dream is not to be rich and famous or anything like that.
Well, God may have given you the dream.
Exactly.
And, you know, I mean, a lot of times dreams come from the Lord. And so is it wrong to ask it to come to pass? I don't think it's sinful. You know, it's not sinful to ask God for something. And if God doesn't want you to have it, he'll say no.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Okay.
Okay, this is Ricardo, who says, I'm from Namibia and love your show. According to the book of Joshua, chapter 10, Joshua stopped the sun from moving. Is this grounds for support of the flat earth theory? Do you believe in the flat earth theory?
Well, you'd have to totally ignore all of modern science to think that. This is a ball, and the ball revolves around the sun. And God did not stop Joshua didn't stop the sun. He stopped the earth from rotating, apparently, in a short period of time. But that has nothing to do with being a flat earth. It's none whatsoever. But it never happened before. It's never happened since, where God heard the voice of a man and actually slowed down the rotation of this planet we're on. And you say, how did it happen? I don't have any idea, but it was an extraordinary miracle.
Mm-hmm. This is a viewer who says, if a person who ages loses their memory, how will they remember God?
Well, I think your spirit will always break through. Your mind might not be available, but God's the Holy Spirit, and He will let Himself be made known to people. He's not going to, if you get the Alzheimer's or the senile dementia, God's not going to abandon you. He'll still be there, and He will still, when your spirit breaks through from this mortal coil, as they say, the Spirit of God will still be there to receive you. So you don't have to worry about that, all right?
Well, that's all we have for today in questions. We thank you for your questions and you for your answers.
Hey, thank you, ma'am.